Gujarat Titans have made a name for themselves in the last 2 years under the leadership of Hardik Pandya, but with him leaving the franchise, a young Shubman Gill will have to take over the reins. Will he be able to take his franchise to another title, or will his experience prove costly? Let's have a deep analysis over their squad, their likely playing 11, and the differences from last season. Okay, so first and foremost, I think we should talk about Mohammad Shami because unfortunately, he's been ruled out of the 2024 season with an injury. So he's going to be a huge setback for the Gujarat Titans. He bowled every ball with passion and fought through the pain during the World Cup. I mean, my heart goes out to him because he has such commitment to the country and he's a champion player. He was the best bowler last year, picking up 28 wickets at just an economy of 8. He was just phenomenal in the power play, and more often than not, he would get his sides off to good starts. I mean, if you look at the stats, 15 out of those 28 wickets were picked up in the power play, and that just goes to show his value. We'll talk about those implications a bit later, but for now, let's look at their auction strategy, which involved getting an Umesh Yadav, a Shah Rukh Khan, and a Spencer Johnson after letting go of the likes of Alzari Joseph, Yash Dayal, and a certain Hardik Pandya. So when we're making that starting 11, your first name is probably going to be the captain himself, which is Shubman Gill. I mean, he had an insane season last time, getting 890 runs with 300s. I mean, that's only second best to Virat Kohli's 2016 season. Having one great season is one thing, but doing it back to back is a whole nother question. So this time around, he will have the added pressure of captaincy, and the Gujarat Titans will hope that he can absorb it and convert it into more runs, because if he does well, then the whole team will feel better, because if the captain leads from the front, then that's just the best for the team. Meanwhile, if you were to look at his opening partner, there are a few choices, but the number one probability is going to be that Riddhiman Saha starts in the 11. He also does keep wickets for the team. So last season, he scored 371 runs at an average of 23 and a strike rate of 129, which means that he was not even able to capitalize on those innings that he did get himself in, and his strike rate is really poor. I mean, he's 39 years old and he's not getting any younger, so this is going to be a toss-up for the management. So what they might just end up doing is throw him in the first few games and see how he does, and depending on that, they might drop him. So the other opening option could be a Sai Sudarshan, who did really well last season batting at number 3. I mean, it's kind of confusing because he scored about 360 runs, striking at 140, and he only got like 8 games. This also allows for a nice left and right hand combination to put bowlers off their rhythm, but in case he doesn't open, then he will be batting at number 3. So for the sake of team building, let's just say that Riddhiman Saha is going to open. So at number 4 might be a toss-up for the management because they have an experienced Kane Williamson over there. I mean, he's fit and available this season, so you would want to play him, but at the same time, he uses up a foreign slot. And considering that Mohammad Shami got injured, you're going to need an extra pacer to do the job that Shami did in the power play. So, as much as it pains me to say this, I think Kane Williamson has to be sidelined and sit on the bench. This is also why I'm not leaning towards a Matthew Wade as a wicket-keeping option because that foreign slot is just too valuable for them. So instead of these foreigners, I've decided to play a Vijay Shankar who interestingly had a great comeback in 2023. So he batted in 10 innings and scored 301 runs with a strike rate of 160, which I wouldn't normally believe looking at the years before that. So it's important to keep in mind that there's no Hardik Pandya this time around, so somebody will have to do that all-rounder role and bowl 1 or 2 overs, and they might just expect Vijay Shankar to do that. So far, this batting order does look a bit timid on paper, but with David Miller coming in at number 5, you get an explosive finisher, someone who can adapt if a few early wickets were to fall, and he's just a great player to have in any team. He's the sort of player who would stand up in tough situations. I mean, last season he scored 260 runs, striking at 145. You would expect a bit of a better strike rate from him, but he didn't have much work to do considering that Shubman Gill scored majority of the runs, but he will have a lot more responsibility this season because there is no more Hardik Pandya. So for the number 6 slot, they do have a few options between an Abhinav Manohar, who has been playing for them for the last few seasons, and their new buy in Shah Rukh Khan. Abhinav Manohar actually hasn't done much wrong because he got only about 6 games last season and struck at about 138, which isn't bad at all, and he was used as a bit of a floater, but they did pay 7.4 crores for Shah Rukh Khan, so I have a feeling that he will start in the 11. So last season he had quite a few cameos, like 41 of 23, 21 of 8, 23 of 10 and 22 of 9, but 3 of those came in losing causes. Gujarat Titans already had a strong middle order and they seem to have strengthened it even more. So next is going to be a no-brainer because it's Rahul Tewatia, who's been a genuine match winner for the franchise. I mean, he's the Iceman. Batting at number 7 for him is ideal, but he can easily bat at number 6 as well. But last season, he didn't really have much work to do. He only got about 87 runs at a strike rate of 150, but that's because the match would get over before he even got a chance to bat. I have no idea why, but ever since he joined Gujarat, he hasn't been used as a bowler. I mean, his leg spin isn't that bad, but I guess you don't really need it when you have the world's best leg spinner in your ranks. In at number 8 is gonna be the spin wizard in Rashid Khan. I'm not sure, but I think he is currently recovering from an injury, so they'll hope that he's ready for the first game. Otherwise, GT will be in even more trouble. He was their lead spinner last year, grabbing 27 wickets, and he's been phenomenal with the bat in the last few years. I mean, he has that amazing wrist work, and his hand speed is incredible because he has like that snap or snake shot that just takes the ball over the line. I mean, last year he was striking at 216 and nearly single-handedly win them a game against Gujarat against Mumbai, where he hit like 79 of like just 30 balls, which was insane. I mean, what more does the guy have to do, you know? But so far we've used 2 overseas slots, and the reason I've decided to go this route is because it gives GT a bit more experience bowling in that power play. So at number 9 for me is going to be Umesh Yadav, whose main priority is to bowl 2 or 3 overs in the power play and pick up a lot of wickets because it's a known fact that he gets hammered at the death if you look at his time with RCB or even KKR for that matter. If he isn't doing the job, then they do have Karthik Tyagi as an option, but at that point it's curtains for them because I'm not sure who's going to bowl with the new ball then. So Umesh Yadav has to really do well and take the place of Mohammad Shami and do exactly what he used to do. So the second pacer that I've decided to play alongside an Umesh Yadav is going to be Mohit Sharma. Again, he's an experienced veteran. He had an incredible comeback last season after not playing the IPL for a few years, and if he even does half as well as he did last season, then it'll just go a long way for the franchise. It's quite shocking that last year, 3 of Gujarat's bowlers were competing for the purple cap within themselves, so that is really good for the franchise. So the final player at number 11 is going to be a Noor Ahmed because they needed a second spinner, and at times he's even outclassed Rashid Khan himself. He is going to be our third foreign player, and if you look at his last season, he was the most economical bowler, going at about 7.8 and picked up 16 wickets in 13 games. The other option that Gujarat has is a Sai Kishore. He's a tall left-arm spinner who has done well in a few games, but he's more suited for turning tracks, while Noor Ahmed is good in all conditions, so they'll definitely start with him. So looking at the 11 so far, we've only used 3 foreigners, which means that they can play another one as their impact player. And on a batting track like Ahmedabad, they will need a third seamer alongside Umesh Yadav and Mohit Sharma. So they can either go with a Joshua Little, who's a left armer from Ireland, or their new buy in Spencer Johnson at a whopping 10 crore. Joshua Little has some experience, but he wasn't as effective as the team would have liked. I mean, he only picked up 7 wickets in 10 games that he played last year, and you expect a lot more from your foreign players. Meanwhile, Spencer Johnson has jumped onto the cricket scene in the last 2 years. I mean, he clicks at 150 on the speed gun, and he's known for his performances in the Big Bash League and the 100, but will he be able to convert those in a place like India? The one thing that the team should be worried about is that first 6 overs with the new ball, because if Umesh Yadav isn't able to pick up wickets, then it'll be much harder for the likes of Rashid Khan and Mohit Sharma at the death. So Mohammad Shami was so crucial for them. All in all, this team was looking pretty solid until the injury to Mohammad Shami. So now with the pacer down and the aging factor of Ridhaman Saha, they might have to look at a wicket-keeping option elsewhere, whether that's a foreign player in Matthew Wade or a completely inexperienced newbie in Robin Mins. Now it's seeming like it'll be a hard task for them to create their starting 11 because of all the permutations and combinations with their overseas players, but for them to do well this time around, they'll have to find that winning combination early on in the season.